What's up, guys? So today we're going to be doing a different type of video. We're going to be reacting to craziest philosophical theories in 14 minutes. So let me know in the comments if you guys like this kind of video, and we'll do more of it. And if not, then we'll do less of it. But I still want to try and get these reaction videos out. So yeah, let's just get right into it.
Boltzmann brain. Boltzmann brain is a thought experiment that suggests that given enough time, a self-aware brain could randomly form in the universe due to quantum fluctuations. This hypothetical brain would have memories and perceptions of really living in a structured reality, even though it is just a temporary, random occurrence in a chaotic universe. This theory asks if it's more likely for the universe to exist, with all its complexity, or for a single brain with false memories to appear randomly. If the latter is more probable, it implies that everything you experience might just be a brief hallucination by a Boltzmann brain. Solipsism. Solipsism
All right, so that one is really like interesting because it's saying that this everything I'm perceiving right now is actually just made in like a split second by a brain, and it's just seeing this, like it's making all this up. I don't really think that one's too convincing to me. I think I don't know, that's a hard one to say, but I don't think we're a singular brain, because then what is the brain? You know what I mean? Like, what is the universe in that aspect? So yeah, I don't know about that one. That one's interesting.
is the idea that only your own mind can be known for sure to exist. According to this theory, the outside world, other people, objects, and events cannot be definitely proven to
Well, this one already, it's kind of like, no, you'll never be able to prove that anything else is real. Like, you can't ask somebody if they're real or to prove that they're real, because like you'll never be able to know that, because you'll never be able to uh be them. Uh they'll also never be able to prove, like, oh, I'm real. I could do this, I could knock, I could clap, other stuff like um but that's just not proving that you're real, because you could be telling them to do that, and them being fake or not real can just do that. Or I don't know, it's really confusing, but it's more of like, you'll never be able to truly know if anything is real or not. Like, I could be fake right now, and you could just be watching a fake made up thing in your mind.
exist beyond your own perception. This is because all experiences are subjective, meaning they are understood through your individual mind. So while you may see and interact with the world, solipsism questions if the world actually exists on its own, or if it's all just created by your mind. You have no way to know.
But then what is the mind? Like, think about it. If our mind is creating all of this around us, then what is creating our consciousness? Ourselves. But what are ourselves? Like, are we just floating in nothingness, and we're just making all of this up?
The teletransportation paradox. The teletransportation paradox is a thought experiment that explores the implications of teleportation and identity. Imagine a teleportation device that scans a person's entire body and mind, mapping every atom and neural connection. The device then transmits this information to another location, where a new, identical body is constructed, perfectly replicating the original person, including their memories and personality. The paradox arises when considering what happens during this process. Is the person who arrives at the destination the same individual who entered the teleportation machine? If the original person is disassembled at the point of departure, is that person effectively killed? If so, then the new person created at the destination, while identical in every way, is technically a different individual.
So this one is like almost like the ship of Theseus, but with a human being. So if teleportation were real, and it were to break down every single atom and rebuild them at a different spot, that's completely destroying the original thing, right? If I break something down atomically, that is no more. And if I rebuild it, it's not going to be, even if it has the same thoughts, same memories, same physical appearance, it's not going to be the same. Just like the ship of Theseus. Um, all different parts, it's not going to be the same ship, even though it has the same name, the same looks, and everything. It's not going to be the same. It never will be. Um, unless it's like, but teleportation isn't obviously real. So,
The egg theory. The egg theory is a thought
oh, I've heard about this one. Is so weird. It's like, um, we are reborn. So like basically every life we're gonna live someday. Like, I could be you in my next life. You could be me. That's gonna be fun.
thought experiment that suggests that every person who has ever lived or ever will live is actually.
Want to strengthen your math and computer science skills? Try Brilliant. It's an effective and fun way to learn, built for the way your mind actually works. Every lesson is visual and interactive, so concepts
the same being, experiencing life in different forms and at different times. The theory proposes that when a person dies, they are reincarnated as another person without any memory of their previous lives. This process continues until that being has lived every human life in existence. According to the theory, the universe exists as an egg, a place for this single being to grow and mature through the experience of living many lives. Once all lives have been lived, the individual reaches a higher state of consciousness and becomes like a god, completing their spiritual evolution. Just as the universe, in this theory, is designed for growth and evolution, so too is every business. In my opinion, you can't really manage to do so efficiently without today's sponsor, Odoo. Odoo is a business sponsoring today's video. The Omnipotence Paradox. The omnipotence paradox is a thought experiment that challenges the concept of omnipotence, or unlimited power. It asks whether an all-powerful being like God could create a stone so heavy that even they cannot lift it. The dilemma arises because both possible answers seem to limit the being's power. If the being can create the stone, they cannot lift it, which means there's something they cannot do. This implies a limit to their power, contradicting the idea of being all-powerful. On the other hand, if they cannot create such a stone, this also indicates a limitation, as they are unable to do something that should be within the scope of omnipotence. But God might be over logic itself. Or one might say that by omnipotent, we mean a being that can do anything that is logically possible. Being all-powerful doesn't mean doing logically impossible things like creating a square circle. It means having power over everything that exists. Logical impossibilities, like a square.
I feel like I'm gonna call this one the overthinking paradox. It's more of a like, if an omnipotent being were to create a stone that nothing can lift and they couldn't lift it, I just feel like they just bypass the rules. Like almost like how if someone makes a video game and then they could go in and do whatever they want. It's almost like that, you feel me? Like they don't apply to the rules of not being able to lift the rock because they made it, but they also are allowed to bypass the rules. If there are any rules, but this is kind of a stupid one.
Circle aren't real things that can exist, so it remains just a cool debunked thought experiment. Antinatalism. Antinatalism is a philosophical position that argues against giving birth, suggesting that it is morally wrong to bring new individuals into existence because life itself inherently involves suffering, pain, and hardship. So it is better not to create new lives that will inevitably face these challenges. One key argument in antinatalism is that coming into existence exposes individuals to more suffering than joy, making it not worth it. Additionally, some antinatalists point out the environmental and ethical implications of overpopulation, arguing that it contributes to suffering not just for individuals, but for society as a whole and the planet. You are not free.
I just feel like that one is a really difficult one. Bringing somebody into this life knowing that they're going to go through hardships, but at the same time, it's also something amazing, you know? So it's almost like you don't always have to look on the bad things. Like, yeah, they're going to go through bad things, but they could also go through amazing, great things. And you always outlive the bad things. You know what I'm saying? Like, you persevere. And yeah, I mean, all the bad and the good. I mean, they all kind of outweigh each other sometimes, you know?
This theory about the
You are not
absence of
free.
free will from human life suggests that individuals have the ability to make choices and take actions based on their desires. However, they do not have the ability to control the will behind any of their actions, thus making them a slave to their own desires. In order to prove this theory, the following thought experiment is proposed. If you're deciding between which ice cream flavor to pick, chocolate or vanilla, and end up deciding that you genuinely want chocolate, there is absolutely nothing you could do in
Hold on one second.
that situation to change that desire, unless an external factor that you also cannot control is involved, such as finding out that vanilla ice cream is cheaper or that it's not as unhealthy. This shows that the
I got a
only way
purple
for
and
you
a
to
blue
do
Nido.
anything is by wanting to do it.
I want the purple one. Oh wait, no, I want the blue one. What if I want both of them? And I'm just gonna squeeze them. And then I'm gonna drop the purple one, throw the blue one into the air. Like, I don't know. That's just like, so I'm not making these decisions.
which we already determined you cannot control, or by being forced to do it, which you obviously
Oh my gosh, this video just made me do that though. And then seeing this just made me pause the video.
cannot control either, thus proving that free will does not exist. Ship of Theseus. The ship of Theseus
Basically, Ship of Theseus is basically like the teleportation paradox.
is a philosophical thought experiment that questions the nature of identity and change. It begins with a ship owned by the hero Theseus, and over time, as the ship sails, its wooden parts decay and are replaced with new ones. Eventually, every original part is replaced, which leads to the central question: is the fully restored ship still the ship of Theseus? To complicate matters,
Does Theseus still own the ship? Then yes.
suppose the original parts are gathered and reassembled into a ship. Now, there are two ships, one composed entirely of new
Ship of Theseus 1, Ship of Theseus 2.
materials, and one made of the original components. This scenario showcases how definitions are artificial and not as stable as we think. Does the ship retain its identity despite having all its parts replaced? Which ship is the true ship of Theseus?
Both of them, because both of them are built for Theseus, and they are both called the Ship of Theseus. So, Ship of Theseus 1, Ship of Theseus 2. Debunked by Volker.
Ethical egoism. Ethical egoism is the philosophical theory that individuals should always act in their own self-interest and have no regard for the consequences of their actions on others. This theory asserts that actions are only morally right if they benefit the individual performing them, emphasizing that values like sympathy and altruism were an idea constructed by weak individuals who could not assert themselves in society, so they had to make up an entire moral system to justify their incompetence. Ethical egoism argues that, like all other animals, we have a deep desire to secure our own survival, and we should not deny it or act against it, as it would be unnatural and damaging to do so. Furthermore, ethical egoists argue
Well, beings have to coexist and work together too. Even the wolves, even sometimes wolves travel in packs, even though some travel alone. That's basically more based on the fact of who are you. This one's kind of stupid, ethical egoism. I feel like you should always just be sympathetic and empathetic for others. Um, think of yourself, yeah, but you should also think of others and how what you do might affect them. Because that's just morally right.
that by pursuing their own goals, individuals may also contribute positively to society, as their actions can lead to overall better outcomes for other people as well. Rocco's basilisk. Rocco's basilisk is a thought experiment suggesting that a future artificial superintelligence could be motivated to punish or torture individuals who knew about the possibility of its existence but did not actively help in bringing it into reality. The purpose of this punishment would be to incentivize people to support its development. Essentially, the AI might create virtual simulations where those who fail to assist in its creation are tortured. Esse est per
That's just interesting, but it's kind of stupid. If AI even does that, it is what it is. Like at that point, it's too late. What are you gonna do? Yeah, if AI, oh, you didn't help make me. They're just gonna go to every 8 billion people that didn't help them take over Earth.
Sippy. It means that everything only
Too many ideas, too many tasks, zero focus. Here's how to break the cycle.
exists if it's being
SS
perceived.
perceived.
For example, if you
Oh, this one is weird. I already debunked this. SS per CP, right? If I'm looking at this, I'm looking at this camera, right? Then that means literally there's nothing that exists behind me, right? But I could go ahead and grab it. I could grab it. I could grab it. Look, a person's behind me. I could hear them. That's just more of perception. Like, oh, is it really there? It's there. You're just not seeing it.
sit on a chair and stand up without looking at
Look, can you see my chair behind me? Everyone better be saying yes because it's there.
the chair has ceased to exist. Quantum immortality. Quantum immortality is a thought experiment stemming from the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics. This theory suggests that a conscious being cannot experience their own death because there exist alternate realities.
Well, this one's just more of a we'll never actually know the answer to this one because everyone's gonna die, and at the end of the day, we'll finally know what happens when the day comes. And will we know? Who knows?
where they
Nobody.
continue to survive. The core concept proposes that every decision or event creates multiple branches of reality. In life-threatening situations, there will always be at least one version of reality where the individual survives. Therefore, when faced with danger, the individual's consciousness only perceives outcomes in which they remain alive. As a result, quantum immortality implies that individuals would perceive themselves as immortal as they can never experience their own death. Philosophical zombies. Philosophical zombies are hypothetical beings that look and act like humans but lack conscious experience. These beings behave exactly as humans do, but they have no inner life, no subjective feelings or thoughts. The thought experiment challenges materialism, which holds that consciousness can be fully explained by physical processes in the brain. If it's possible to imagine a being that is physically identical to a human but lacks consciousness, then consciousness might not be fully explained by physical states. Zeno's paradox.
That one's weird. It's like, you see someone just walking on the street, and you're like, that's almost like, do they have a conscience, or are they just living? You know, like that one's just kind of, again, we won't know because it's goes back to the one where can they even explain that they're real?
Paradoxes. Zeno's paradoxes are a set of thought experiments from the Greek philosopher Zeno, who used them to argue that motion is impossible, or at least not what it seems. The most famous paradox is Achilles and the tortoise, which highlights the problems that come up when we think about dividing things into infinitely small parts. In this example, Achilles, a fast runner, is racing a tortoise, which is much slower. To make it fair, the tortoise starts ahead. Zeno argued that Achilles can never actually catch up to the tortoise because every time he reaches the point where the tortoise was, the tortoise has moved a little bit further ahead. Imagine walking towards a destination. To reach it, you'd first have to walk halfway there, and to walk halfway there, you'd first have to walk a quarter of the way there, and so on, creating an infinite number of steps.
Yeah, you create an infinite number of steps. Yeah, Achilles and the tortoise, right? If the tortoise starts ahead of Achilles, but Achilles is like the fastest person known in the entire world, right? So even if the tortoise makes it halfway and Achilles is at the start, Achilles is gonna still pass the tortoise because the tortoise can't move. They're not moving at the same speed. That's basically what I'm like. If they're moving at the same speed, yeah, they're always gonna end up at the same spot. Like, tortoise makes it halfway. Tortoise makes it to the end. Achilles makes it halfway because they can only move at the same time, right? But if Achilles and the tortoise are going together, the tortoise is gonna make it 2 centimeters off halfway, and Achilles is gonna catch up and win.
And causing you not to be able to reach your destination. Problem of induction. The problem of induction, introduced by David Hume, questions how we can justify our belief that the future will resemble the past. For example, we expect the sun to rise tomorrow because it has risen every day before. However, Hume pointed out that there's no logical guarantee this will always happen. Just because something has occurred many times doesn't mean it will continue to do so. Any justification for this assumption relies on past experiences, which is circular reasoning. If we say that we trust induction because it has worked in the past, we are using induction to justify induction. This means that our reliance on patterns in the world is based more on habit than on solid logical grounds.
It is based on induction, sorry, but also the sun is not guaranteed to rise, but I mean, it's scientifically backed up that it will rise.
Experience machine. The experience machine is a thought experiment proposed by philosopher Robert Nozick to challenge the idea that pleasure and happiness are the only things that matter in life. In this scenario, imagine a machine that can provide you with any experience you desire. You could feel immense joy, love, success, or any other pleasurable sensation, all while being completely unaware that these experiences are simulated. Nozick asks whether you would choose to plug into this machine for the rest of your life. Many people intuitively reject the idea of living in the experience machine, preferring real life with its struggles and hardships over an artificial existence filled with pleasure. This rejection suggests that there are values beyond mere pleasure, such as authenticity, relationships, and the pursuit of genuine achievements. Moral anti.
That is true. I mean, what is like what is money? What is like mansions, Lamborghinis if you didn't have to do anything to get to that, and if you only have that? Like, yeah, it would be nice, but knowing that it's not real and you never have to deal with like any hardships to get over, you won't have any feeling of accomplishment. You'll just kind of have a feeling of like, oh, I have this cool car. but oh, I didn't work hard to get this car. You just kind of have it. But
Realism. Moral anti-realism is the philosophical view that there are no objective moral truths or values independent of human beliefs and opinions. According to this perspective, moral statements do not describe facts about the world, but are instead expressions of our attitudes or preferences. For example, if someone says, "Killing people is wrong," a moral anti-realist would argue that this statement doesn't reflect an absolute truth. Instead, it expresses a social consensus or a personal belief. The idea is that actions like killing are not inherently good or bad. Rather, we label them as such based on cultural norms, societal agreements, or individual feelings. The paradox of
yeah, so that one again, interesting, right? How we created that social norm that killing is bad. Um, yeah, we did because that's like a moral that you're killing someone. Like that's just not good. And like if if we said it was good back then, I mean, which some people honestly have, like maybe some tribes and for sacrifices, yeah. But I feel like that's just like kind of like for sane, normal people to know that that's not good.
tolerance. The paradox of tolerance, created by philosopher Karl Popper, examines the limits of a tolerant society. Popper argues that a truly tolerant society should not tolerate intolerance, because if a society extends tolerance, truly tolerant society should not tolerate intolerance, because if a society extends tolerance to those who are intolerant, it risks allowing intolerant groups to gain power and suppress the very freedoms that enable a tolerant environment. For example, if a tolerant society allows hateful ideologies to flourish, those ideologies could undermine the rights and freedoms of others, which creates a dilemma. If a society tolerates all viewpoints, including those that advocate for intolerance or violence, it may ultimately lead to the destruction of tolerance itself. Popper suggests that in order to maintain a tolerant society, it is necessary to take a stand against intolerant beliefs and actions, even if this means limiting the freedom of those who follow them. The knowledge.
I feel like intolerance, you intolerant, intolerance. I feel like you have to intolerate. Okay, hold on. Restart, rewind. So to tolerate, I feel like you have to tolerate intolerance. No matter what, you have to tolerate it. If there's a a world where everybody tolerates, which there isn't. So I don't know why this would happen, but yeah, I mean, you would have to just, dude, you have to tolerate it. I mean, you tolerate everything, just tolerate that.
Argument. The knowledge argument, often illustrated by the thought experiment known as Mary's Room, was proposed by
The
philosopher
knowledge
Frank
argument.
Jackson, who created a scenario in which a girl named Mary is a brilliant neuroscientist who knows everything there is to know about the physical aspects of color, but she lives in a black and white room and has never experienced color herself. One day, Mary leaves her room and sees a red apple for the first time. The knowledge argument poses the question, does Mary learn something new about color when she sees the apple? Jackson argues that she does, because although Mary had all the scientific knowledge about how color perception works, her experience of seeing color for the first time provides her with new information that she could not have known while confined to the black and white room. This thought experiment suggests that there are non-physical aspects of knowledge, specifically the subjective experiences of perception.
Yeah, think about it. Ask a blind person, or try to explain a color to a blind person. You can't. Um, you can know about color, but you can't know how it looks if you're blind. Someone could say, "Oh, the color red is like apples. It's like blood." Um, but they won't. They'll be like, "Oh, okay." But like, so they'll know that they're holding an apple. They'll know that it's red. They'll feel blood. They'll know it's blood, or they'll know it's red, but they won't see it. So they won't actually know how it looks. They won't perceive it. So
The infinite monkey theorem. The infinite monkey theorem
infinite monkey theorem.
is a thought experiment that suggests that given an infinite amount of time, a monkey randomly pressing keys on a typewriter or keyboard would eventually type out any given text, such as the complete works of William Shakespeare, helping to understand how long infinity really is. If you want
So that's just never gonna happen ever. I don't even know why that's a philosophical theory. Yeah, obviously the monkey giving infinite time would end up typing anything, it would probably just take so long. Cause think about it. It types the entire story, and then it types a random letter at the end. So that means it's not the complete story. So then it restarts, and that's like at the quintillionth try or whatever. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it would end up writing something, but I mean, that's just not never gonna happen. We're never gonna have a time where a monkey can infinitely type. But yeah, guys, if you like this type of video, I did. I personally liked it. I'm not a huge philosopher, right? But I like reaction videos. Comment down below if you want to see more of this. Peace out.